In this video, we're going to focus on division of polynomial functions. Division of polynomial functions. Please write. Division of polynomial functions can be solved using remainder theorem. Division of polynomial functions can be solved using remainder theorem. Let's consider what remainder theory is. Please write remainder theory. Whenever we are dividing polynomial in a long division method, we call that particular theory remainder theory. Please take notes. So in terms of remainder theory, we have 4 parts. We have the divisor part, we have the quotient part, we have the dividend, and we have the remainder itself. Okay, so let's know the part that stand for divisor, the part that stands for quotient, the part that stands for dividend, and remainder itself. If I have something like this long division, this a long division sign, this part here, d of s, will represent the divisor part. Please take note. This part here, q of s, represent the quotient part. This part here, dividend. Okay, this part here, d of, let's use s, represent the dividend part. At a point, whenever there is no further division, or whenever the value of s diminishes, that part is known as remainder. Whenever there is no further division, or whenever the value of s diminishes, okay, at that point, that part will stand for remainder part. So this part here is our remainder. All right, so let's solve some questions here to understand this note here. Please write question 1. Okay, we are given this question here. They said find the quotient if we divide s raised to the power of 3 minus 1 by s minus 1. Solution first. We can represent this statement as s raised to the power of 3 minus 1, please take note, over s minus 1. Of course, this numerator is a polynomial. Okay, so whenever we are dividing polynomial, we apply remainder theory. All right, so we'll have this to be, I will create the long division line here. The numerator part will be inside, that is s raised to the power of 3 minus 1. The denominator will be outside, that is s minus 1. So in dividing polynomial functions, this is the techniques we use. The first here is to divide the first part of the divisor with the first part of the dividend. The first part of the divisor with the first part of dividend. So s raised to the power of 3 divided by 3 divided by s will give us s squared. So the answer will be written at the top. That is the quotient part. That is s squared. So to get a new polynomial here, the formula is p of s will be equal to class divisor times quotient. This is the formula to get a new polynomial. Please take note of this. So let's replace this class. Our divisor is s minus 1. Our quotient is s squared. So let's multiply s squared minus s squared times s will give us s raised to the power of 3. S squared times minus 1 will give us minus s squared. So the difference between the old polynomial, that is this polynomial here, which is the old one, and the new one here, which is this one here, is minus. Minus, please take note. Is minus. Please take note. So now let's subtract the old from the new here. S raised to the power of 3 minus s raised to the power of 3 will be 0. Please take note. So class, at the top, we don't have s squared. So since we don't have s squared, it means that s squared will be 0 at the top. So 0s squared minus s squared. So I'll have 0s squared at the top minus, that is minus into minus s squared. This minus here is the natural minus from this. So minus times minus will give us plus. Here I will have s squared. So we have minus 1 at the top here, and there is no number to subtract minus 1. I will take minus 1 down here. This will be minus 1 here. So the next again is to divide. Remember, we have to divide to a point where the value of s diminishes or where there is no further division. So this s squared divided by s here, I will have this to be plus s. So let's have a new polynomial here using this particular formula here. All right. The divisor is s minus 1. The quotient is the new quotient here, which is this one here. Please take note. Is s. So let's multiply. This will give us s squared minus s. So I'll have this to be s squared minus s. All right. So the difference between the old, that is this, and this is minus. Please take note. So let's subtract here. S squared minus s squared will give us 0. Please take note. All right. So we don't have s at the top, so we have this to be 0s. So I will have something like this, class. 0s at the top minus the natural minus into minus s. Minus times minus is plus. So I'll have this to be s. So in the old polynomial here, we don't have any number. So I will take minus 1 down. So I'll have this to be minus 1. The next is to divide again. S divided by s here, I will have this to be plus 1. So let's have the new polynomial for this quotient. I will have this to be class s minus 1 into 1. So 1 times 1 will give us 1 times s will give us s. 1 times minus 1 will give us minus 1. So the difference between the old one and the new polynomial here will be minus. So s minus s is 0. Okay. Minus 1 minus minus 1. That is minus 1 minus minus 1. Minus times minus is plus. So minus 1 plus 1 will give us 0. Please take note. So I'll have this to be 0 here also. So class, our remainder is 0. Our quotient is s squared plus s plus 1. So in this question here, we are asked to represent the quotient. We are not asked to represent the remainder. So our quotient here, is equal to class s squared plus s plus 1. This is our answer here. So in our next video, we're gonna focus on complex questions on remainder theory. Okay, all you have to do is to hit the subscribe button. Okay, thank you.